Ce n'est pas. Ce n'est pas. How what? Do I have to like sync it or something? Hello. Okay. So I thought I was giving this presentation by myself originally, but I found that I have a co-presenter because there's a big fuzzy black spider right here on the table. No, 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 don't. My co-presenter. Don't kill my co-presenter. Hello? No?
I think they need you to like it's for recording, right? The mic? Yeah.
It's okay.
Even though we can't really hear you.
Even though you can't hear it. Oh, okay. In that case, I will hold this. Sadly, I am unable to connect to the projector here, so I'm going to just use my laptop right here for my presentation. It's less than ideal, but I've made do with less. So I'm here to talk to you about LARPing. Do we all know what LARPing is? As we pretty much, yeah. Have any of us been to LARPs other than me? You've been to LARPs. Which ones have you been to? Just curious.
Not like full events, but like
Okay.
outside.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I had a video to show and everything. Okay. LARPing is it's live action role playing. And I feel extra special qualified to speak about LARPing because I can remember before it existed, way back in I guess it must have been like the early '90s. It started being a thing. It developed from like tabletop role playing, like Dungeons and Dragons with the funny shaped dice, things like that. I'm just laughing because the spider has the sword now. He is, yeah. So yes, and it's really nerdy. I had a slide here that was really nerdy, but that you can't see. But it can be wonderful. I don't know if this is going to play. No, it's not even showing my video. Okay. I had a great video there queued up. If everything was working, this wouldn't be an issue. I had a great video there queued up of a LARP. I've never actually been to this LARP. In some other countries, usually not in the US, but in Europe especially, LARPing is just huge. You'll go to a LARP and there'll be like masses of people with like armies clashing together, and it's really spectacular. And I would really love to go to one of those. Here in the US, we have a few smaller LARPs. We have, I say we like as if I'm involved with it, but we have a few smaller LARPs. By and large, they're mostly medieval style LARPs, so it looks like a Dungeons and Dragons game happening around you. Or if you've been to a Renaissance festival, have anybody? One of you? Oh, Renaissance! They're so much awesome, aren't they? People come in costume. We have yeah, things like that. But now we're starting to have, I call them zombie LARPs, but it's post-apocalyptic LARPs taking place after, world-shaking apocalypses. There's one in particular called Dystopia Rising, which is a LARP that takes place like 4 generations after the big zombie apocalypse that wiped out all of civilization. So there are zombies still around, but there are also mutants and things from the abyss and all kinds of creepy monsters. And you go to the Dystopia Rising, that's one LARP that you go to be scared. There's a lot of terror in that. I should probably get to, let me just go to, ooh, is it going to show the video? No.
Try clicking it.
I clicked it once and it got, wait, can I go back? No, don't go that far. No. I click and it goes to the next slide. Oh, okay. So usually if you go to the website of a LARP, like I said, there's Dystopia Rising. There's another big medieval LARP called Night Realms, which is in Sparta, New Jersey. It's the same place, it's the same camp that Dystopia Rising takes place at. There's this camp in Sparta, New Jersey. I think it's actually like a girls/Boy Scout camp most of the year, but then certain weekends of the year it becomes like just cleared for LARPing ability. So they have cabins there, a central cabin where like the LARP is, serves as the headquarters for the LARP. Usually when you go to the websites, they will give you detailed instructions on how to create a character for the LARP. And character creation is usually not quite as involved as it would be for tabletop. When you create a character for a tabletop game, like such as Dungeons and Dragons, you're usually figuring out like the strength, the dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, number of hit points, things like that, etc. But usually when you create a character for a LARP, it's a little bit stripped down. It's usually you'll have a few different types of weapon skills. The example that I have here, it's for Dystopia Rising, the zombie apocalypse LARP that I play. This is how you would create a character that is a gunslinger. And usually as a gunslinger, you get one skill in gunslinging. Make sure my co-presenter is not on this. And they usually use Nerf guns. Ordinarily, the Nerf guns that you bring to game, you're advised to like paint them so that they look like actual guns, but leaving the orange tip that's necessary for them to be legal in New Jersey. So if you were to create a character for Dystopia Rising, for example, you would make the gunslinger character, and you would get the gunslinger skill, so you can actually use the guns in game. And then, as you use he's dead. As you use the skills, you would usually call out damage when you do the skills. In Dystopia Rising, guns do like 3 points of damage, so I would call 3 when I shoot Stephanie or Steven, whichever one that actually hit. And then, as your character advances, you can get like the other skills on this list, which might allow me to do more damage or do like a special type of damage. There's one type of damage which is snipe shot, which is just like, I think it's like 30 damage, like just straight out. So basically what you do is you would go to this LARP, you would create your character, and you shouldn't just create a set of stats. You should have an idea of what your character is. Like if I went to Dystopia Rising as a gunslinger, I kind of shoot a typical, stereotypical gunslinger. If I had no imagination, it would be a stereotypical gunslinger with a wide-brimmed hat and have all these kinds of guns and stuff like that, and go to the LARP and get ready to shoot zombies. Usually once you have your character, you go to the headquarters of the LARP and you sign in. And when you sign in, you're going to have to sign up for what's called an NPC shift. You all know NPCs, right? That's not too jargony for any of you. Non-player character. So when you go to the LARP, you're obviously going to be playing your character, whichever character you have designated for that game, your shady gunslinger or whoever. And then you're going to sign up for to play non-player characters. Now, if we were playing the zombie LARP, you would get there, or the way most of the LARPs that I've been to have been run, you would get there Friday night, and then usually about 8 o'clock, it's supposed to be 8 o'clock on Friday, but usually winds up being like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Usually about 8 o'clock on Friday, they start. Usually the people that are running the LARP will have opening announcements, and then they will say, okay, so now game on, and then everybody is expected to be in character. You're expected to pretend that you are your character. And when you signed in, you will have signed up for this NPC shift, which means that somewhere across the span of the weekend, you will have to spend 4 hours as a non-player character. So if it's a zombie LARP, you might have to spend 4 hours as a zombie, being the monster. You show up to the main headquarters in just like plain sweatpants and a t-shirt, like they usually say like black sweatpants, black t-shirt. And then they will assign you to be non-player characters, to be either monsters, or it's possible that they might have a need for you to be like some distressed villager who like goes into town saying that you're in one case, saying that your sheep have been stolen and you're looking for brave heroes to come help you find these sheep that are wandering towards the zombie-infested wasteland, kind of out on the outskirts of town. I was actually on that module once, and I actually played a sheep, so it was lots of fun. But exactly, yeah. Very uncooperative sheep we had to play. We had to like wander towards the zombie-infested land so that the other NPCs who were playing the zombies could like attack the people who were trying to rescue us. So that was a fun one. Like, I just got done saying that most of them are like designed to scare the hell out of you, but that was actually a fun one. So you sign up for your NPC shift. You also sign up for a cleanup. I'll get into cleanup later. And then, like I said, once game on starts, oh, boffer weapons. Usually what you'll use is, like I said, in the case of zombie LARP, you'll use Nerf guns. You can also use, what they usually use in the, like the medieval LARPs, is they usually use small packets, and I meant to bring packets with me, basically bird seed tied together in a little bundle in a little cloth packet. And that's what they use to simulate spells. If you're playing like a medieval fantasy LARP, such as Night Realms, and you cast a spell at somebody, you would cast a fireball and you would throw the packet at them and say how much damage it does, you know, fire, 8 damage. Were we getting laptops? That would be great. So,
Why do you keep killing me?
because I love you. Because you're Timo, yes. Yeah, it really is killing the both of you. So yeah, you would throw packets at that person. The way they have the zombie LARP, if you don't have a Nerf gun, you can get something that looks kind of vaguely gun-shaped and then throw the packets as you're like, shoot you, 3 damage, 3 damage. But otherwise, co-presenter. There we go. Okay. But, huh? Yeah. Huh? Yes.
Do that again.
What?
You are an impressive individual.
Aren't I, though? This is actually, okay, now, I brought these other weapons to use as examples, but this is actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sword that I thought I was going to be able to bring to LARP, but I found out that these are not cleared for use. They're all about safety at LARPs. Oh, very well. And these things, although I think they're safe, they're not safe because they're not meant to take a lot of abuse. And I'm pretty sure that the Ninja Turtle sword has like a plastic core in it somewhere, so I think if you really abuse that, it could it could like break, and then like the shards could like hurt somebody. But yeah, basically what you would do is you would attack people and call out the damage. So 2, 2, 2, 2. Dystopia Rising is meant to be a lightest touch game. They do have LARPs where you're expected, thank you. They do have LARPs where you're expected to really like wail on people, and it's right. There's one called Amped Guard, which is I don't know where the closest Amped Guard game is. There's another one called Dago here, which is another. They're mostly medieval LARPs.
And those are to like the players who would be simulating legitimate combat.
Yeah, they're kind of more simulating like genuine combat. I think they still do call out damage. I haven't been to one of those. Yeah, but it's more like full contact, you know, sparring with boffer weapons.
And also, do you have to like, let's say like if you're a swordsman.
Yes.
And you have a special technique, do you announce the technique before you do?
Yes. Well, it would depend on the technique. Huh?
No, like answers for the person.
Oh, okay. It would kind of depend on the technique. There are like swordsmen that have techniques that just allow them to do like a sword normally does like 2 damage. I think if it's a regular size sword. some melee combatants would have a technique that would allow them to just always do 5 damage instead of 3 because they're just that good. But go ahead.
So like the second, okay. So is it like for every sword it has like the same amount of damage, or is like say it's a single size, like?
Yeah, it's the dagger would probably be 1 damage. That would be 2. Like a 2-handed sword might be 3, and it again it varies from LARP to LARP. And when I say that normal sword does 2, I mean like normal bottom of the barrel, like old rusty sword that you got from your character got from his grandfather's closet or whatever. And then you can get like, you know, magic weapons or specially like really well designed weapons. But I was going to say that, you know, there's the base number of damage that the sword itself does, and then you might just add, you know, other, like add pluses to it. However, your character could have like 1 special attack that you get to use once per event or something like that, that just, you know, 50. And that's the last time you can use that attack for the rest of the event.
So is it like across the face?
It really is. There are like the people that are running the game, they will go around either as NPCs or just, you know, dressed like they are but out of character, which is something I also have to mention. So they will be keeping an eye on you. They'll be making sure that like if they see me do an attack for 50, and they're like thinking like, I didn't think Craig had any attacks like that on his character sheet. You know, like I'll have to check that out. And they can like ask to see my character sheet and like, where did you do that attack from? You know, what do you have on your character sheet that enables you to do that? If they think I'm being like egregious or whatever. And you're never going to be able to police everything, but yes.
Are there multiple lives? Because you killed
Yes.
20.
No, I haven't killed you 20. Well, you don't know if I've killed. I've done damage to you. That 50 might have killed him, yes. But
Hey, what's the okay? So for each role, there is a certain amount of health, or?
yes, usually you get a certain number of health to start, depending on what kind of character you are. If you're playing like an orc, if it's a medieval LARP and you're playing like an orc, you're gonna have more like health than a halfling, say. Yes, you can get dual wielding. It's what they call dual wielding is a skill they call Florentine style. There's no evidence that people from Florence ever dual wielded more so than anybody else in Europe, but it's for some reason called Florentine style. I totally lost my train of thought. So yes, you would have a certain number of health. So you have to kind of mentally, like as I'm hitting you, two, like figure out when that health is depleted, and then you die.
Oh, so you also
You
have
hit
to
the
be
ground.
thinking as you're playing. So
You
that's,
do have to
that
be
and
counting,
yeah.
and you're never going to get it perfect. I used to worry about that a lot when I first started playing LARPs. I used to worry that, like, what if a guy hits me 6 times and I think he's only hit me 4 times or something? Like, it can be hard to do like math in your head because as you're being hit by a guy
Well,
swinging
you're just
something
like,
at you.
Math.
Yeah. So you're never going to get it perfect, but like as long as you're not, like I said, egregious about it, as long as you're not, just shrugging off.
Say you could be wrong and like say you're supposed to die 3 hits ago, but since you died another 3 hits. Okay.
Yeah, that could be the case. And it's especially a problem when I'm like, whenever I'm in the NPC, because like when I'm a zombie, I might have like certain abilities that let me ignore certain types of damage or something like that. Like I can, I'm just using this as an example, I could maybe only take damage from melee weapons, but not from firearms or something like that. So it's, don't abuse it kind of thing is the attitude. Don't try and get away with, just taking all these hits and, you should have died like 50 points ago and you didn't. But yes, there are multiple lives in in Dystopia Rising specifically. It's assumed that everybody has a certain percentage of the zombie virus, and that as soon as you die, your body, the virus in your system will try and knit your body back together and will kind of bring you back to life. So you just kind of melt into the ground, and then you come back at headquarters. When you so you come back at headquarters, and you have to like try and get back to the battle or whatever. But there are people that will have like healing skills in Dystopia Rising. They have doctors as well as priests that can like heal you, even if you're down for the count. So yeah, things like that. I haven't died yet in Dystopia Rising, and I think that's I use a technique called cowardice. So anytime big monsters come and attack me, I like run away. And when I do die, they say when you die, die loudly. So like when you go down, you're.
It's like, ah!
And then, oh, sorry, when you hit the ground, and you're dead, you're not considered to be permanently dead yet. You still have to, more math. You have to, you've got 5 minutes. So like,
It's like
count to
basically it's
60.
a game, so basically you
It
spawn.
really is, yeah. And basically you respawn. You can only respawn a particular number of times. There are certain character classes that are more difficult to play because they have fewer times that they can come back from and then after that they're permanently dead, and it's assumed that the zombie virus in them has knitted them back together so many times it
So,
just turns them into a straight zombie.
So, for your thing, would it be like, say you, okay, so if you died the maximum times, would you necessarily be a zombie then? Or would you be out of the game?
Usually, well, you would come back probably as a zombie, but then the people who are running the game, they might have like other plans for you. They might have plans for you to come back as some other kind of undead creature. That's because then you can come back and just screw with your friends and pretend, oh hey, I'm back, and then it turns out that you're secretly this creature that's going to eat their brain. And it's the same in. I'm pretty sure that in most of the medieval LARPs that I've played, and I haven't died in any of those yet, but I haven't been to all that many of those. Most of the medieval LARPs I play, it's like when you take your last death, you're just dead. There are some LARPs which have you do something like either every time you die, you like roll a die, or like pick a marble from a bag, and if you pick the evil black marble, then you're permanently dead. So they have like some randomization built into those things.
If I die, can I go like to a corner or something, so just laying on the ground there for like 5 minutes?
Wait, yeah, you can do that.
Because I would not be in there like
Probably. You could probably do that. And if you just get to the game and like maybe you've been playing this game for a while and you've been taking a lot of deaths, I think as my character for Dystopia Rising, I think she gets 4 deaths before she's permanently. I play a female character in that game. Sorry, I should have clarified that first. Yes, no, there's a lot of cross-dressing involved, but huh? And I'm really femmy anyway, so yes. Yeah, for the zombie LARP, there's a type of character called. Wait, let me see. What's our time look like?
11:39.
It's 11:39. Okay, we got time. There's a type of character for the zombie LARP. They're called retrogrades. They look like zombies to begin with. So you have to put like lots of zombie makeup on your face. They're still in perfect possession of their mental faculties. They just look zombie-like. So it can be dangerous to play one of those characters because if a bunch of zombies are attacking the town and you're with the good guys attacking the zombies, and then somebody turns around and sees this zombie face next to them, they might just wail on you. So that's kind of a more dangerous class to play. But
speaking as makeup, would you say that it's difficult to sometimes get into like character, like clothing and makeup and all that?
sometimes it is. It's there are different characters. You could play as just a regular human, and you really don't have to have any kind of makeup at all. For the zombie LARP, they do require you to be in like post-apocalyptic clothing. So like get some old stuff and like put tears in it and like splotch paint on it or things like that to make yourself look like you're playing a character. But in like medieval LARPs, you might have to dress in like you can dress in armor if you want to. If you're like a fighter character, you can dress in robes. You can dress however you want to. if you wanted to play, like, for example, an orc, you're gonna have to put like either green makeup or wear like a full orc face mask or something like that. That's going to be a lot of makeup to put on. So if that's not your thing, you might just want to play like a regular human or something like that. You know, something that doesn't require a lot of dress up. And when you put all this makeup on, it's got to survive like running around in the woods and sweating and like having people hit on you and stuff like that. Not hit on you like flirt, but although that happens. So, yeah, not on my character. Nobody's flirted with my half zombie chick. So, yeah, no, Pixie doesn't get a lot of love. So, yeah, she does. So, again, I've lost my train of thought. So, two of the things that I meant to do, and I've like completely gone astray from my presentation now. There are a lot of times during the game where you're required to be out of character, and in most of the boffer LARPs that I've been, out of character is usually signified by having your hand over your head. Either your hand or that means that you're out of character now. So like if you die and then you have to go back to headquarters, like, yeah, if 5 minutes have passed and you're still dead on the ground and nobody's seen fit to come over and help your ass up off the ground, then your character is dead. You have to go back to headquarters and then, you know, sign in, say, I just took another death, you know, am I back to life again? And then you walk back to headquarters like this and just kind of.
Like you're just
doing this the whole time, just running to the bathroom?
Well,
no, that's
unless.
the awkward part. Imagine walking doors like this in the middle of battle. So like, hi guys, don't mind me.
Yeah, and that's just out of common courtesy. Don't like wander in the middle of people fighting like this, just to mess with them. And no, you don't have to do this unless you've decided that your character never uses the bathroom, because you could just be in character and like there's not a battle going on.
So
I need to use the restroom. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
so yeah, you would be out of character, or like if you're doing the NPC shift and you're being a monster, you might have to be out of character as you're walking to the staging area. Oh, that's nice.
Could you have a strategy where like one of your character's traits is they do this just to fool people that actually are in character the whole time?
No, that would be like dumb. Well, no, it wouldn't be dumb. It would just be then you're. It's kind of like.
You'd officially be that guy.
Yeah, you would be that guy.
It's like do that just to.
There have been times when like it'll be like a hot day out and somebody's like, and if their friends are smartasses, they'll be like, "Where'd you go?" Like, no, it's like, but no, yeah, there have been. I've done that myself. I've been like sitting like this, just like with my arm over my head because like I'm tired and just kind of worn out, and then I realize, oh, I'm out of character.
Like I haven't seen Craig in a while.
Yes, and obviously you can't. That's considered. There's a type of cheating called metagaming. Metagaming is when you acknowledge that you're a character in a game, like.
So you basically break the fourth wall.
Yeah, kind of breaking the fourth wall. And if you do that to like cheat in the game, and it's not like there's a winner. It's not like after every game they're gonna like pronounce the winner of the game. It's just you're role playing. It's like World of Warcraft, just in person. So yeah. So yeah, you can't, if you see monsters attacking, you can't suddenly go, oh, I think I'm gonna wander over here now out of character. It's because that would be, you're being that guy. You're metagaming, and that's cheating. It's the same thing with in Dystopia Rising. You're allowed to set up your own tent in the game, and monsters are not allowed to enter your tent because that's your personal property. You might, there are privacy issues. So NPCs and other monsters are not allowed to go inside your tent. If you see a bunch of zombies attacking and you dive in your tent for safety, like, no, that's not, because realistically a zombie would be able to tear through that tent. I was gonna say, now that I've completely gone.
Applause for the fearless leaders above the TV.
Everyone PT.
Yay, buffer latex weapons. Okay, I talked about that.
Went
Playing in
window
character.
shopping
Yes. You bought a TV?
next. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, right up. I bought.
That's some dedication there, Justin.
So, wait, it went away.
It sure did.
It's, whoa, that was creepy.
Yeah, it's not big.
Well, yeah.
Okay, it's coming up now. Sorry. I feel really sorry for our media people that are like taping this. I'm really sorry. This has been kind of crazy. So the hold rule. In every buffer LARP I've been to, there is a hold rule. Somebody on the field will scream hold, and then everybody is expected to repeat the word hold, and that means everybody stop what you're doing. It could be for many reasons. You could be called you could call a hold because somebody's been injured. Maybe they rolled their ankle or something like that, and they felt that in their need of serious medical attention. You don't want people like jumping over them and fighting while they're trying to limp to safety. Yes? Is that what's going on in that picture? I just know that that's... Yes, no, nobody has to do like this. But hold could mean... It could mean that somebody's been injured. It could mean that you're about to step on a bee's nest, so like don't put your it's not, you shouldn't be like when they call hold, you should. My co-presenter's not on that, is he?
I want revenge.
He's right there.
I want.
He's right there. He's right by your finger.
Revenge.
Steph, the spider's right by your finger.
So anyway, so yeah, most often a hold is called because of safety, but it can be called if, depending on.
Like dying.
No, that's being that guy. That's metagaming. So the people that run the game, the marshals and the directors and stuff like that, they're going to schedule different types of activities, different types of modules. I call them modules, like the sheep one where they have a townsperson come running into the main inn and say that her sheep needs to be saving. But they're going to be running these events. Okay, just making sure it doesn't shut down. They're going to be running these events, these modules. They might have it set so that once a certain number of, a certain number of zombies are killed, that somehow summons a demon from the back. So they might say, hold, and then everybody stops what they're doing, and then they explain, okay, as you're fighting the zombies, this demon pops up right here, and they'll have something to represent the demon. He's got the laser thing on. They'll have something to represent this big, giant demon, and they'll explain like how the demon's powers work. You know, if he hits this packet at you, it's automatically, 5 damage or whatever. So, so then when the hold is over, they'll say 3, 2, 1, lay on, and then everybody goes back what they're doing as if nothing happened. So again, yeah, you don't be that guy. It's, monsters are coming, hold. I'm gonna just go over here. And do that. That's,
Okay, what if that awkward moment happens when you're about to get attacked, how you get your phone call, you're like, hello?
yeah, it's, no, if your phone rings, no, don't answer your phone. Don't have your phone on. You're in the post-apocalyptic. They don't get Wi-Fi. They don't know what a phone is. They don't even know what a phone is. Right. There's no. Right. Yes. Exactly. Or if it's a medieval fantasy LARP, yeah, the wizards don't provide Wi-Fi.
This thing asks for
What if someone's phone went off and like everyone, including the zombies, just was like, what is that?
The I actually have this great phone cover for my phone. It looks like a book, so I can kind of have it out at game and pretend I'm just reading a book. And it works for me because I'm a librarian. So. Anyway, so yeah, that's the hold rule. It's usually meant for safety purposes. They do try and have every attempt to make the game as safe as possible. if you have any kind of like brawling skill, a lot of times they will have these like short boffer weapons that you'll make out of like, like foam, what's it called, like the foam insulation and duct tape, and they'll make these small weapons, and those are considered to be your fists because it can't have people like punching each other and, in game. So you're using these little, huh? No, doesn't happen. In a lot of games they say that there's no touch combat, so it's what they call like physical role play, because they don't want weird geeky people like touching each other. But so it's always a good courtesy to, if somebody is on the field and they're dying and you're trying to get them to safety, you can, quick put your hand over your head. Is it okay to physical role play? Like, meaning, is it okay to like pretend to grab your shoulder and like drag you off the field? And then they can consent, or if they don't consent, just say, okay, I'm picking you up now, and pretend to pick them up and drag them off the field. Where am I? Advancement. Oh, yes. Every time you go to an event, and it's usually once a month. There's one I've been trying to get Stephen and Stephanie to go to. The first weekend of May. So what is it? May 2, 3, 4, something like that, or yeah.
1, 2, 3. I don't know.
It's Friday, Saturday. The first Friday, Saturday, Sunday in May. The Zombie LARP Dystopia Rising will be going on in Sparta, New Jersey. You're all welcome to come. I promise. Go to the website. I think it's $40. It's like 40 in advance or 45 at the door, I think. Something like that. And then you can pay extra money if you want like extra experience points. Yes? What's that? Okay. What am I part of? I don't actually. I just do it with people. I don't actually run any LARPs. I would love to. I really don't have the time. Yes. So I'm part of, there's a few of them. There's Dystopia Rising, and I go to those events. Like I said, I have no part in running them. I just go and participate as a player, yeah. There's one called Night Realms that I haven't actually been to in a long time. Yeah, it's one of the bigger medieval ones. So, oh, you're welcome. There's a new one called Sacred Grounds, which is in Montrose, Pennsylvania. And I said I'll never be able to think of this place without thinking of Smoke on the Water, because Montrose. Yeah, very few people get that one. So there's a new one called Sacred Grounds, which is another medieval one. In Montrose, Pennsylvania, which is kind of, it's not quite the middle. It's like I think a 3.5-hour drive from here, so that one's kind of far. But I've heard good things about it, so I'm going to go to that one. That's also in May. It's going to be the second weekend in May. So, ooh, sorry.
Just lay down.
See. So, I thought I'd take a break from. See, this is what happens when I don't shoot you.
I love it though. I didn't get the headshot.
So anyway, every time, usually when you go to the first few LARPs, the first few events that you attend, you might get like up to 4 experience points. The experience points can be spent on different skills, so you can advance your character. You can go in as being this kind of nobody gunslinger, just barely picked up a gun, and then you can kind of gradually work your way towards badass. The more games that you go to, no. Actually, no, it might be. It might be a rank of like gunslinger when you get to a certain level. So you eventually acquire experience points, and you can just add those points into getting more skills. Different skills have different cost amounts. So as long as you keep surviving, you can just, continue to go to, and then you eventually might get to the point where you're more badass and you have a better chance of survival. However, they have it worked out so like the first 4 events that you go to, or sometimes in some games it's the first 5 events, first 3 events, you get 4 experience points. After that, the next 3 events you go to, you get 3 experience points, and then after that, it's like 2 experience. So it diminishes to the point when you're a real badass, you might only be getting 1 experience point for every game you go to. But by that point, you're enough of a badass that you don't really care. And you can use characters if you want to have. Yes. What?
How many points do you have?
How many points do I have? I forget. Wait. Pixie. Pixie had, I want to say like 15 altogether that she spent on different skills.
Is that considered a lot?
Not really, no. So I really do need to attend more LARPs. My wifey is letting me attend more LARPs, which is great. So yes.
So like the classes, which is your favorite to play as far as like combat goes?
Oh, wow, that's a good question because I usually don't like to play like the big combat classes because I'm 44 years old and like little 20-year-olds are like running circles around me and like hitting with. I meant to say, where did I put? Oh, put it back here. I meant to say, before, like they try and have safety and there's no metagaming. So one of the rules is in Dystopia Rising, especially, is that he's already cringing. So one of the rules is that you're only allowed to do like 3 shots at a time, and they have to be in like different parts of the person's body. So you can't sit there like if your sword does 2 damage, you can't sit there and go and just like because realistically that's not really going to be actually it's going to hurt, but it's killing a person by just eventually, yeah. I should have done that with this one too because this is you can't go like and then
Should we switch scenes?
Give me like 20 minutes. Eventually, you'll start to believe.
yes, exactly. So yeah, you do have to like make actual strikes against. Yes.
Is it possible to lose an arm or something?
Yes. In a lot of different games, they have they'll have a skill, and it's one of the skills that you can buy, and it's like mangle limb, and then that arm is considered to be. You can't use that arm. Yeah, just let it hang there. That's actually your left arm. So if you're a righty, then I probably should have gone for that limb.
Can
But
you do the leg to make sure they don't run?
yes, you can do that too. You can mangle limb. There's actually no. There's actually an attack. It's I forget what the name of the attack is called, but it's one of the advanced attacks. But it just does mangle limb 4 times, and it just mangles each of your limbs. It's I forget what the name of the attack is called because
Called Nub City.
no. No, it's come to be called potato. For obvious reasons. So yeah, potato. And then you're just that's
So wait, what is potato exactly?
it, you mangle all 4 limbs, so the person's just a potato.
They did do a Monty Python joke.
Oh no, yeah, they should have. Yes. So that's advanced. Oh. And then after the game is done, usually by noon on Sunday, you've been playing all weekend, and it goes all through the night. So if zombies attack in the middle of the night and you're in your tent, you should probably get up and try and help fight them.
Oh, so it's like a camping.
Oh, yeah, you camp there.
It's not like the tent is like an impenetrable fortress. It's just
No, it's just a tent. And I've been on NPC shift on Sunday morning, and like the zombies come and people are still asleep in their tents because it's 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and these people have been playing all weekend. And usually there's a marshal, somebody who's running the game, that takes the zombies out, and they're just considered to be out of character. You can wear headbands that are out of character. I think it's a white headband means you're out of character. And they'll take the zombies around, and we're expected to kind of like go up to the tents and like make to and sometimes the marshal will say, okay, if everybody's not out of this tent in 5 minutes, you're all considered to be dead. And then people will be like, oh, okay. It's like come out of the tent. Or we've had people just like the whole tent dies because nobody's willing to get their ass out of bed to come help fight the zombies. But so yeah, it goes all weekend until noon, and then the game ends. And then we go through like what's called the cleanup crew, which everybody is expected to clean up their sleeping area, and we go throughout the whole camp and do like everybody gets in a line and we like kind of march and like make sure there's nothing on the ground, make sure that everything's cleaned up, leave the camp better than we found it, essentially. Oh, Parlor LARP. I meant to talk about Parlor LARP, but we're out of time. College of Wizardry, which would be a great video if I could show it. These are the nearby LARPs that I meant to mention. What I was going to say about Parlor LARPs is that there are LARPs that take place, like vampire LARPs. There's a role-playing game, Vampire the Masquerade. And then they came out with like 2nd edition, which was Vampire the Requiem. But where you play vampires and you don't have weapons necessarily, because to be vampires in regular human society, so you just go there and you talk, and it's a very political game. There's lots of backstabbing. You can do attacks, but lots of backstabbing. You can do attacks, but they're different. They're not like, you're not doing like a boffer LARP. You're like calling out attacks and stuff like that. And
Okay, for like a zombie LARP,
right.
Say, could you do like an alliance with a group of people?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, including humans?
You could do that, yeah, and there have been gangs in the zombie LARP, so you could join like a gang and stuff like that. It's not encouraged, like what they go, PvP combat is not encouraged, but it's supposed to be a realistic thing that would happen if you.
Like if it was a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
And not
Yeah,
everyone would be
exactly.
trusting.
Huh?
I know that zombie apocalypse.
Not everybody would be trusting each other. Yeah, it's in your best interest because then you don't want your fellow players to like hate your guts. But it's it's expected that that sometimes conflicts will arise and you should be able to get into a fight with somebody. If you really get a grudge against another player and you want to just like fight and like kill them, you can do that, but it's encouraged that you get a marshal, like one of the people that are running the game, to just be around and witness it, so that, if, again, like I said, usually you're expected to do the math in your head, how many hit points you have and how many. If it's against another player, then you want to have a marshal around, just because if the other player says, no, he only hit me this many times and that was not my, like if there's an argument, you don't want it to like come into game. And there are, especially in zombie LARP, in Dystopia Rising, one of the best things, people like ask me for advice, like what do I need to know going to Dystopia Rising? A lot of the people playing are trying to be these badass post-apocalyptic survivors and who, are surly, angry people who don't, like anybody else. But everybody there is a geek. You're all there to have fun. You're all there to dress in funny costumes and chase each other through the woods. So that surly badass who's in the corner looking like, don't come near me, he's probably secretly waiting for you to come up and talk to him, so he has a chance to like be his character and
The issue though is that like everyone wants to be like a survivor. Like, how do you work out the rules for zombies? Because I know not everyone wants to be a zombie.
What's that? How do you work out the rules for zombie?
The rules for zombies, because I'm pretty sure like when you go to an event like that,
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily want to be a zombie.
Well, you would only have to be a zombie during your NPC shift, obviously, and then you might not even have to be a zombie. It's when you do your NPC shift, you're expected to do whatever kind of non-player character they need, whether they need you to be a monster, whether they need you to be a townsperson. They might even have just like they feel like the characters need to have a little entertainment or something like that, so they can say, okay, you're just traveling entertainers, just go out in the town and like pretend to play music or something like that, or pretend to be merchants and here's a bunch of stuff and you can sell this stuff to people, and it's usually just like little cards that represent, like they don't expect you to be like a food merchant and actually wheel a cart of like fruit and fish or something like that. Yeah, I know you would. Well, and they usually do. No, they do have a character class in Dystopia Rising that's just cook, and you're encouraged to bring your own food and cook it for people.
I would really.
Is there a type of character who would like feign being a zombie just to like get with the zombies and then like at the like during a conflict it's like turn on them, it's like I'm actually with them?
There is, okay, no, not necessarily that, but there is a type of character. It's assumed that the zombies can tell that you're not a zombie, but there is a type of character called a full dead. It's a race strain that you can be. Like my character is, like I said, she's kind of half zombie. She looks like a zombie. If you play a full dead character, it's less zombie and more like I don't even know what a revenant. It was what it would be called. But the full dead, they look like their like skin is pale white and their eyes are sunken in and they look kind of dead, not rotting, but like just a dead person. You actually have to get a number of points. You can't be that to start as a starting character. You have to like be you have to be involved with the game for a certain amount of time to earn the right to be a full dead. But one of the abilities of the full dead is if zombies are attacking, they can put their hand out like this and just kind of stand there, and zombies will just ignore them because they look so dead that the zombies don't realize that they're, and you just put your hand up like this. And the way you're supposed to play a full dead character, full dead characters, they kind of subconsciously know that they are dead, so they almost don't see zombies as a threat. So like if everybody else in your group is looking this way and you happen to look behind your back and there's a bunch of zombies coming, you can just put your hand up and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, yeah, and like not think to, oh, I should probably warn these guys that there's a bunch of zombies coming up from behind us. So that can be a cause for some, yeah. But they have zombies, and then they have like raiders, like people who are just like psycho, like Reavers from Firefly, kind of. They go around eating people and stuff like that. So I think I've already gone like 5 or 10 minutes over time. Does anybody have any questions? 8 minutes. Over time.
I mean, the next panel.
You've been asking questions.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, the next panel doesn't start in like 30 minutes, so.
Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, that's all I have for you as far as LARPing. Oh, thank you.
You killed that man too many times.
Yeah, I really did. So, if anybody wants to try out the weapons, they can. And now, as I said before, this probably wouldn't be cleared for a regular LARP. This is the only one that's an actual. Here, a weapon.